Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special new series that is coming up on the channel here with a session 0 for a solo RPG by the name of Notorious. And when you start to read into the description for this game called Notorious, it's basically Star Wars, but you play one of many bounty hunters. So each of these is a class in a Notorious game here. So you play a nomad and you work for the guild, and the guild has very specific rules. For this, I'm not really going to go too much into the rules for the game. If you want to see the rules for this, there's another fellow by the name of Lone Adventurer that did a really great job of, giving the rules for how to play this game and what to look out for. So I'm going to skip over the gist of the idea of the game, and we're going to jump right into character creation here. Now, what I've done is adding to this game. The rulebook itself, this is a very small game, which is fantastic. There's not a lot to it. But what's great about it is that everything here for Notorious runs off of tables. So no matter what you do, you always are checking tables and rolling dice to see what you need to do. As for dice in this game, you only need 2d6, which is great. And some of these things, for instance, we're looking at the planets here. There's only a total of 6 planets. What I went ahead and did was added 5 more planets, and then you will roll 2d6 instead of 1d6 and take that result. And I've done that for a bunch of the things in this game. And with that, let's jump right into creating my nomad. I'm going to let fate decide what my nomad is. So as we see here, we have the armorer, the assassin, the bot, the brute, the chameleon, the engineer, the nomad scholar, the oracle, the scoundrel, the uncanny, and the wraith. So we're going to go ahead and pick my nomad based off of the roll table here. So let us go ahead and see what nomad we get for our bounty hunter. Oh, we get the engineer. So we're going to play the engineer here. Your practical demeanor and tool-laden attire hide a brilliant mind for the machinery and technology. Okay, so then let me go ahead and grab my sheet here, and we are going to be the engineer. Okay, we also need to roll on the species and personality, as well as the origin, scars, and trigger. All right, now we're going to go ahead and pick our origin. We have 6 here. I left those at 6. I didn't update those. It's just we have more origin, scars, and triggers because we have more nomads to pick from. So let's go ahead and see what we get for our origin. A self-taught tinkerer who has been experimenting with machines since childhood. Now for the scar. All right, once again, we will be rolling 1d6. And we end up getting number 6. A series of small, precise scars on the hands and fingers, remnant of a close call while disarming an explosive device. But let's go ahead and add that into our scar area here. All right, and then finally, we will be picking our trigger. And with that, we end up getting the trigger that put us into the life of a nomad as the final one here. And that is going to be that we encountered a reclusive genius inventor who became our mentor. So, makes a lot of sense. We have a self-taught tinkerer, engineering here from childhood, has been playing with machines and just making stuff. We have loads of scars on our hands and fingers because of all this work we've been doing since a very young age. And then at some point in our childhood, we had a reclusive genius that basically took us under their wing, made us became our mentor, and then led us into the life of becoming a nomad because of how good our skills are. Now we need to pick out our species and personality, and then also a registered name. On top of that, since we're here, because of the favor, notoriety, and motivation, we end up getting 2 of these checked for both motivation and favor. Nothing for notoriety, so we get 2 in favor, 2 in motivation, and that's good for our nomad profile. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll 2d6 to see what we get. And we ended up with the Onsiet, the many-eyed. So go ahead and copy that and throw that into the species tag there. And then we will get our registered name next, and then our personality. And we will go ahead and pick one of our names. And our name is Orin Dusk, the Onsiet Engineer. Fantastic. Very interesting character we have so far. And lastly, we have to pick our personality here. We're going to go ahead and get one of these randomly. What do you know? We are angry, argumentative, and loud. As for being an engineer, Probably argumentative. You know, maybe they want to be always right about their tinkering and tools and whatnot. So let's go ahead and take a look at the angry, argumentative, and loud roles here. Now, in the original one, I believe there was only 2 for each of these, and I ended up adding in 4 more to get a whole bunch of different possibilities of why we are argumentative. Let's see why Orin Dusk here is argumentative. What blunt item do they brandish to intimidate others? Okay, well, this is an actual one from the game, and probably some kind of tool that they're always in hand that they need. Maybe like a crescent wrench. This is our personality here. Yeah, so we have our Nomad. Here's our profile. Looks great so far. We need to get our weapons and information. Now, I've hidden that stuff in my Nomad's engineering items here. So we have the SCAR information, and this is going to give us the loadout. So first off, we have our ranged weapon, which is going to be an energy pistol with modular attachments. So because it's supposed to be a small pistol, we could either pick +1 damage or +2 hearts as like a defensive measure. So we only get one or the other. And then we also have a melee weapon of a high voltage shock baton, and this one flips. And if we go into melee, we could then choose 2 stars or 1 heart. And then our outfit is a utility belt with tools, protective goggles, and a sturdy work boots, which gives us +1 stars and +1 hearts for all of this. The rest of this will be dealt with later on. If we're ever injured, we lose 1 attack or defense. And then we also have leads encountered, so when we start finally getting towards our main target. And then we have all of our assets here to help out with us, so these will come later on. We have our character picked out, and we will go ahead and start picking out information for our first target as part of this session 0 here, and then we will get into the actual game in session 1. Okay, now we have the contract to pick, and we have to figure out who our target is. So we're going to do basically the same thing we had done for ourselves, creating this engineer. Now we get to make the contract here. So first off, we're going to roll for their species and choose a name. Then we will roll for their personality, considering how this detail would be posted on a bounty. Roll for the planet where the story takes place. Choose a faction that's present on the planet as the client, and choose one of the faction's reasons for posting the bounty. And for our target, we are currently hunting down a Lectok, an insectoid. Okay. And their name is Vespa Sting Slicer. Interesting. And for our Lectok, the personality is going to be, an angry, argumentative, or loud one again. Alright, so now that we have our personality set up with the anger and outbursts of violence because of that anger, let's go ahead and roll for a planet that we will be taking our story to. So as you can see here, there are a whole bunch of planets to choose from. Now, we do have a table here to help me choose those 11 different planets. 5 of those brand new, 6 of them are already from the game. So let's go ahead and see which planet we're going to. There's more than a 50% chance that we are indeed going to a planet built from the game itself. We're going to Storix, the industrial planet. So we'll go ahead and add that into our dossier of information here for our target. We roll for the planet. We choose a faction that's present on the planet as the client. Okay, so to get that information about our planet that we're going to be choosing here, we have to go ahead and pick from one of the controlling factions here. Now we are going to Storix, and we have 3 options. We could say pick the controlling, the challenging, or the minor. I like to kind of leave things to the wind here and roll randomly, so we will go ahead and roll a 1d3, 1 being controlling, 3 being challenging, 2 being challenging, 3 being minor. And we get 3. They are part of the Mystic Order. So in this game, the Mystic Order is similar to the Jedi. Okay, so the client faction is the Mystic Order. And then lastly, we pick, let's see here, choose one of the faction's reasons for posting the bounty. Okay, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. I got this incorrect. The Mystic Order has put out the bounty on Vespa Sting Slicer. So this is where we're going to end up finding out why the Mystic Order has requested help from the Nomads here. Once a powerful force in the galaxy, with warriors of light and dark wielding improbable powers and ancient weapons, those that still remain aim to exert subtle influence over the war. This whole Imperial War that's going on between the old Empire and the New Uprising. There we go, the New Uprising. And with that, let us roll to see why the Mystic Order has put out a hit on this person. And with that, we have the target uncovered a hidden cache of forbidden dark magic texts and distributed them amongst dangerous individuals, risking the resurgence of dark powers and threatening the Order's core principles. So that's why we are being hired to go after this particular individual here. Here we go. We have ourselves our very first nomad here, Orin Dusk, the many-eyed engineer who was at a young age always tinkering with little bits and bobs here, hurt themselves with their hands, maybe had gone in to get their hands and fingers repaired and whatnot, and seeing this, they were scouted basically and brought in by a mentor that probably is part of the Nomad Guild here and mentored them and brought them into the guild. They wield an energy pistol with a modular attachment. They have a high voltage shock baton, and then they wear a utility belt with tools, protective goggles, sturdy work boots. And we are after Vespa Sting Slicer, a Lactoc insectoid that's angry at the Mystic Order and has uncovered hidden caches of forbidden dark magic texts and distributed them amongst dangerous individuals, risking the resurgence of dark powers and threatening the Order's core principles. So here we are. We have been told that Vespa has been located or last seen on the industrial planet of Storix, which is a very mountainy area with colossal machines, dark tunnels, and active volcanoes. Thank you so much for joining me for this character creation here of the solo RPG Nomad. We will be getting into the core game next time as we start to explore this planet here and find our first bounty and hopefully bring them in successfully to be able to go on to other bounties and help clear the galaxy of problematic people. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.